ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, teachings of Queen Kunti, chapter 17. We just started last time when we met, and then we went into whole discussion about controlling mind and intelligence. And hope you all trying that process and it's helping to some extent. Okay, so we'll again restart this chapter. Lightening, lightening the burden of the world. Bharavatara Naya Bharavatara Nayanye Bho Nava Ivo Dadhau Sidantya Bhuri Bharena Jato Shatma Bhuvarthaha. Others say that the world being overburdened like a boat at sea is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Brahma is directly the son of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore, he is known as Atma Bhu. This Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. If I explain this, secondarily reflected means that the potency is coming from Krishna and he just reflects that. In the sense, in his activities, he shows the potency of the Lord by doing things that are not normally possible for normal human beings. That is because of the potency of the Lord that he is reflecting. Reflecting means that, like, when light falls on a mirror, then it reflects. So that potency comes to Brahma, and Brahma puts it into use to fulfill the instructions of the Lord. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shvetadvipa, which is the abode of the Kshirodakashai Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution. And if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults with and prays to the Kshirodakashai Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problems. So that is why actually it is said that Kshirodakashai Vishnu is the source of all incarnations. The source of all incarnations means not that he creates these incarnations, because these incarnations are all eternally present in the spiritual world. But because Brahma comes and prays to Kshirodakashai Vishnu, and then through Kshirodakashai Vishnu, the appropriate avatars, uh, appear. So that way he becomes like the channel, because Brahma prays to him, and then he communicates that to the rest of the spiritual world, or whoever has to come is, so like that. So like he is the he is like the medium. Such a problem arose when Kamsa and others were ruling over the earth, and the earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of the Asuras. Who are the Asuras? Asuras are people who don't want to follow the instructions of Krishna. They are Asuras. And Devatas are those who are obedient to the Supreme Lord. Asuras are not obedient to the Supreme Lord. So to the extent that we don't want to follow Krishna, Guru and Krishna, we can think of ourselves as mini Asuras, small Asuras. We are, we are wanting to remain independent. Devotees get initiated. Even after that, they want to remain independent of their thought process, of the instructions of the Guru. So that is a little bit of Asura Bhava. Not that we cannot call practicing devotees as Asuras, but there is a little bit of Asura Bhava. Kali Yuga, it's a bit crazy because everybody seems to have all kinds of qualities. So we can't like, there are no pure breeds. And there's like previously there used to be like pure asuras. But now we don't have pure asuras, we don't have pure brahmanas, we don't have pure kshatriyas, we don't have anything, nothing is pure, it's all mixed. So everybody seems to have all kinds of qualities in the fallen state of Kali Yuga. Brahmaji, along with other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Kshirodaka ocean, and they were advised of the descendant of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So some people say that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. Okay. Kunti Devi is describing the different statements of different persons about why Krishna appears. Some say some say that he appeared at the request of Vasudeva and Devaki, and some say he appeared at the request of Brahma. भारावतारणान्यान्ये वो नाव इवोदधौ. Which is translation. Some say that he appeared just to reduce the burden of the world, which was overburdened like a boat at sea. When the world is overburdened, there must be war, pestilence, famine, epidemics, and so on. This is nature's law. So we should understand why Corona happened. Corona happened because the world is overburdened by the sinful life of people. And in this holy month of Kartik, we have to actually help people reduce their sins and also their sinful propensities. So I request everyone to please actively participate in, in India, people are at least, it's easy for us to tell people saying that do some vrata for Krishna, right? So if you say read books or come attend satsang, they might not be interested. But if you simply say you be in your home and then simply offer this ghee lamp to Damodar, provide the photo of Damodar. There's a high chance that they will follow. And by just simply following that, they will get some mercy of the Lord. Right. So, and then gradually their sinful propensities will reduce. Uh, but we should understand that when these kind of things happen, wars are happening, Corona happened, wars are happening, so many other difficulties. It's just nature's law. It just shows that the world is overburdened. And devotees, by seeing all this, should not become complacent or should not become, anyway, what can I do? Yeah, and anyway, it's their, I heard also devotees saying, anyway, it's their karma phala. Yeah, it's their karma phala, but devotees always try to help people come out of their karma phala because that is the power of bhakti. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. So that Krishna is given the assurance. So all we have to do is we have to bring people to Krishna. So let's not be self-centered in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Of course, we should first, Prabhupada always said, first fix yourself, take care of yourself spiritually, then you can help others. So we should try to whatever extent possible. If we can't do much, okay, just make people in the house at least request them to offer ghee lamp every day. Maybe we can tell our friends, our relatives, saying this is good for you. You will get the Lord's mercy. Why don't you do it? To whatever extent possible, right? Maybe we are at work. We can inform of our colleagues. Can you please do this? It will be nice. It will be good for you. So don't we should not be blind to the sufferings of this world. The Earth floats in space among millions of other planets, all of them bearing huge mountains and oceans. It floats because Krishna enters into it, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Kama Vishya. Just as he enters the atom, the Earth is certainly not weightless, rather it's very heavy, but it floats because the Supreme Spirit is within it. Everything is lightened by the presence of Spirit. Lightened means given light or bright or uh, yeah, One's body will float in water as long as one is alive, but as soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately sinks. As long as the child is alive, we can take it along by one hand, but when the child is dead, it is heavy. So now we are heavy. We are heavy. So that way also lightened means made light. But when we are spiritually advanced, we will be free from impediments. What does this mean? What is the meaning of this? Can someone explain? So now we are heavy. What does that mean? What does that mean we are heavy? We have too much weight on our body. Hmm? Hare
Unnecessary,
Krishna.
unnecessary things we are doing, talking.
Okay, unnecessary things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? What does this mean? We are heavy.
Prabhuji, attached to the material world.
Yeah, attached to the material. We have too many things on our head, right? Isn't it? Is our head light? Our head is so heavy. This, that, this, so many things. Necessary, unnecessary, everything we are thinking about. Is there anybody here who doesn't think? You're all the time thinking, all the time, mind is active, all the time. Many people are so disturbed that even when they sleep, their mind is active. Actually, we should go into deep sleep where we don't know actually whether we are alive or dead. Uh, that must be the rest, and that kind of rest, if you give even for 3-4 hours, our body will rejuvenate. But we are so heavy with thoughts about this material world, about ourselves, about situations, problems, etc. Head is very, very heavy. But when we are spiritually advanced, we'll be free from impediments. So now these thoughts that have made us heavy are actually impediments. They are blockages. They prevent our progress. Right? So when we are spiritually advanced, we'll be free from impediments. Now, but how to become spiritually advanced? If you don't become free from impediments, we don't become spiritually advanced. Are you able to understand? This seems like interdependent, right? Impediments are removed when we become spiritually advanced. But for us to spiritually advance, we should overcome impediments. So what do we do? What is the answer?
Engage our mind to
No,
those
but we can't engage our mind because we are not spiritually advanced. Mind will anyway go back, isn't it? So we have impediments. To overcome impediments, Prabhupada is saying when we are spiritually advanced, we can overcome impediments. But if we can't overcome impediments, then we can't spiritually advance. So what should we do? See, that is why we should read Prabhupada's books very carefully. Sometimes these kind of statements might be very difficult to understand. But we might keep reading these kind of statements and not give too much attention, or maybe we didn't understand, or maybe we speculated, right? Maybe and we didn't check with anybody to clarify our understanding. So we should understand that we cannot do this by ourselves. That is the whole thing here. We cannot do this by ourselves. We cannot overcome impediments till we are spiritually advanced. So we need somebody else to help us free us from impediments. Who is that? Who is that? Who will help us get free from
Guru.
impediments? Huh?
Guru. Guru.
Guru and Krishna.
Yes.
Guru and Krishna. When I say Guru, all devotees who are more advanced than us and who can guide us. This is also another thing I told before. I spoke about that Shiksha Guru concept, right? So don't think Guru only means Diksha Guru. Guru is anybody who is more advanced than us and who is helping us on the path. Because at a particular point of time, Krishna has brought us to a person or a few persons who are helping us. Right? So then they should be treated. They should be respected that way. So they will help us. They will help us. get over impediments. And then by their help, we become spiritually advanced. Then we can possibly manage ourselves. At least small things we can manage. Again, if there is something very big, again we will go to the Guru, right? So like this, but either way, we have to endeavor to become light. We have to endeavor to become light. We were in, fortunately, Radharani allowed us to, I can't say enter into Vrindavan because, yeah, physically she allowed us to enter into Vrindavan at least. Yeah, as much as possible, we were trying to keep our heads light by engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Because when we are Krishna conscious, we are very light. We are very light. Our head is not burdened by unnecessary thoughts, and possibly it happened to many of us. We just forgot our life in Bangalore, right? So that heaviness has to be reduced by being more and more engaged in Krishna consciousness. But what we choose to do is to remain heavy. We choose to remain. We don't. And like for example, this Kartik month again. I'm requesting all devotees every day go out. Help some souls. Give them a photo of Damodar, Yashoda. Give them information about how they can do the vrata. It is good. Maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour, whatever, how much ever time you have. Right? But otherwise, apart from if you don't do that and sit at home, our head will become more heavy. That's all. Right? So we should take these opportunities. See, we don't get these opportunities every to all throughout the year. Of course, if you want, we can go on book distribution every day, but it's not very motivating for many devotees, I know. But going and doing this is possibly much easier for many devotees, and it will help. So we should do things which will lighten our head. Head is too heavy now. Now we cannot fly in the air, but the spirit soul is so light that when freed from body, it can go within a second to Vaikuntha Loka. Spiritual word, Tekta Deham Punarjanmanaiti Mameti. So, see, spirit soul is so light. So it can just go. Prabhupada is saying within a second to Vaikuntha Loka. See, just imagine. Within a second we can go to Vaikuntha Loka, but we don't want that. We are stuck. We are stuck eternally for eons. Years and thousands of years we are stuck in this material world, and all we need is a practice which will help us to go to Vaikuntha Loka within a second. Prabhupada is saying within a second we can go. So Prabhupada is asking this question. So if we can actually go within a second to Vaikuntha, why then does the world become overloaded? It becomes overloaded due to the presence of demons, those who are against devotional service. When Mother Earth feels this load to be heavy, too heavy, Krishna comes just to unburden the earth. If a ship is overloaded, its position is very dangerous, or it may sink at any moment. See, note this. If we are very overburdened, our position is very dangerous. We may sink at any moment. So Maya will just pull us, drag us down. Therefore, when Mother Earth felt too uncomfortable because of being overloaded with demons, Sidantya Bhuri Bharena, she approached Brahma, the chief living being within the universe. When there's a need, the chief personalities in the universe approach Brahma, who approaches Vishnu to ask that he reduce whatever the burden is. Then Vishnu or Krishna appears as an incarnation as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice of descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Because I was explaining this on our yatra. I descend myself meaning that it's not that Krishna comes himself. It's not Swayam Krishna who comes. But because all avatars are actually coming from Krishna. So when Krishna says, I descend myself, he sends an Amsha, an incarnation to the material world to take care of this situation, which is mostly done, like I said, through Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. And uh, Vishnu actually, he is responsible for this religion. Religion maintaining this is the role of maintenance, right? Brahma creates, Vishnu maintains, Shiva destroys. So the job of maintenance of dharma is actually the job of Vishnu. So Krishna himself doesn't get involved in this. He has different forms of his different incarnations, etc., who have these responsibilities and they take care of it without Krishna having to actually think about these things. He doesn't have to worry about these things. But Krishna has other things that he likes to think about or he likes to do, which is to attract the minds of devotees. To attract the minds of devotees. So Krishna appears. That is his purpose. So that Krishna shows us the way of Raganuga Bhakti, the way of bhakti done in Vrindavan by the Vrajavasis, and thereby attract us by those uncommon, sweet pastimes that we lose, that this heaviness kind of reduces, you know. So, like I was saying, that we should try to put this into practice. Read Krishna book every one chapter, 2 chapters, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before sleeping. We should try hard to put this into practice. Because Prabhupada has said this, it's not my formula. It's Prabhupada's formula. Prabhupada said read Krishna book every day and dream about Krishna. Right? Even if you don't dream about Krishna, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, as soon as we think Krishna, some of Krishna's pastimes may come. Like I said last time, it's not that we have to force ourselves. But if some thoughts about Krishna come naturally, naturally means simply we are actually, how do we start our chanting? With the mood of actually just hearing, pronouncing the names clearly and hearing. And as soon as we are pronouncing and attentively, we are engaged in calling out Radha and Krishna's name, suddenly, by our effect of our reading, those, the Leela that we had read, which is there in the subconscious mind or in our memory, suddenly it flashes, it appears. The thoughts come up, and that is okay, that is acceptable, that is what is actually expected, that is smaranam. That automatically we can think about Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, etc. So we should read this, we should read Krishna book every day. So if any of you don't have Krishna book, kindly get one. If you have one, we should try to open it and read it every day. Right? This is very, very important. It actually helps us lighten our minds, and if we sleep with that consciousness, we might get up with a better consciousness, and maybe we might be able to do better japa. And we should always again remember this: 95% of our progress in Krishna consciousness depends on our japa. So we should try hard. We should try to follow the process actually. If we strictly follow the process, results are guaranteed, because our acharyas, Prabhupada, whatever he has given is flawless. And it cannot be that it didn't work. It didn't work because we just didn't take it properly, take it seriously. But if you do it nicely, then actually it will show results. And I was telling few devotees, this I've seen in action in my father's life. He is no more. He left his body in the middle of Harinam. And that was possibly just simply because of his surrender to the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and also my Guru Maharaj. And he was simply throughout, last 5 years of his life, he was just with books. That's all. He didn't want anybody else. He didn't want people. He was just eating just to live. And his whole day was simply engaged in chanting and reading. And every day he used to read. He had a schedule such that he used to read all the 4 books every day. Whatever Prabhupada had said, I used to just communicate to him and used to be like super. That was his nature from beginning. He was like disciplined, like crazy. Like if you just have to say this has to be done, that has to be done. He will do it. Right, and he expected also to be like that. And when we were young, we were thinking, "Arey, what is this? Are we in some military camp?" And today, I can really see the benefits of how we, actually grew up. It made us so disciplined that anything we want to follow, just that nature is there to, okay, go behind it with full, with full efforts. So he had scheduled for, he used to read Bhagavad Gita, he used to read Bhagavatam, he used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita and Nectar of Devotion and Krishna every day. Meaning he had his own schedule and he used to just keep reading, read whatever, 2 hours, whatever it was. And I saw the effect of it at the end of his life when he was like coughing like crazy almost. He was then subsequently taken to ICU. Even at that time, he's narrating Krishna's pastimes. I mean, today I can understand how exalted that position was. Then, which was almost 6 years back, 6, 7 years back, I didn't realize, though I realized that, I mean, this was the effect. But today, when I am trying to do something like that, it is so difficult, right? But he was so able, so easily, final exam, that was his final exam, and he just passed. All it was just possible simply because of following instructions of Prabhupada, simply. And so we should not become too. Nowadays, people want to be too innovative. We don't want to trust Prabhupada. We want to come up with our own ways. Some people say, don't read Prabhupada's books. It's not understandable. Read other books. I have made it easy for you. So I'll spoon feed you. I'll spoon feed you to such an extent that you will not. Then you will come to Prabhupada's books and feel, oh, Prabhupada's books are so difficult to read. And then we'll not have interest to read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada's books make us think. They don't spoon feed us. Right? And actually, it's very, very important. Very, very important, because we have to think. If you are spoon fed, then we will stop thinking. Like children, if we keep spoon feeding them everything, and they will not learn at all. So let them make mistakes. Let them learn. Similarly, we should put efforts to try and read and understand Prabhupada's books. Yeah, initially we might not be able to understand, but then that thought that will go on in our head. Oh, what is this? What is Prabhupada saying? We are heavy, and how when we spiritually advance, you will be free from all impediment. Then we'll keep thinking about it, right? And then maybe we'll get the answer. Maybe we'll discuss with somebody, and this is Krishna Kirtan. When we have something and we're discussing with some devotees, then that is Kirtan. So Prabhupada's books have a very deep, intent, and how they work on us as devotees. So we should not ignore, we should not neglect, we should not take the easy route, reading some other books, hearing some other lectures. This is just spoon feeding business. Spoon feeding business, it is very easy. It makes us, oh, it's so nice, it's so easy. Oh, Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's lectures, very difficult. Yeah, because it's not easy, because we need purity. We need purity. And how does that purity come? Simply by reading, simply by hearing Prabhupada. Simply by hearing Prabhupada's sound, transcendental sound, we get purified. Forget about what he's saying. Even if we are not able to understand, simply hearing his voice every day just purifies. Simply reading whatever is written in his books every day purifies. And when we are purified, then we can actually understand what he's writing. It's a very simple process, but deep process. So we better just simply follow. Right, so I'll stop here. We'll continue rest tomorrow. So if anybody has any questions, doubts, you can please ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Nayak.
Yes, Nayak.
Thank you very much for sharing your father's detail. That's really great and very nice to know. And you are really lucky to have a role model in your home to see, and that I think definitely helped you to rejuvenate in terms of what step needs to be followed. And thanks for sharing that. I think that is really helpful for us as well. That
Okay.
how we have to follow. Thank you so much.
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Actually, our questions should keep reducing, right? So as we make progress in Krishna consciousness, we should have less questions, we should have more answers. Of course, we will have questions on different levels. We should not have questions on normal sadhana, how to deal with ourselves, how to deal with our mind, etc. Those things should be part and parcel of how we live. Then we should have other questions. Oh, okay, how do we serve Krishna? How do I get to this level? Some higher order questions will come up. But for before that higher order questions come up, these lower order questions need to be resolved once for all, right? And no dilly-dallying, no speculating, no thinking maybe it's like that, maybe it's like that. No, it's all clearly written in Prabhupada's book. So simply read, clearly understand, digest them, make them part of your thought process, and then start worrying about bigger things. Oh, I want to go to the spiritual world. What do I need to do? Am I doing enough? What else should I do? Or what happens in the spiritual world? How is the spiritual world? I mean, we can then go into actual questions. These are actual questions, right? I mean, today what questions we are having is actually because we are stuck. Once we free ourselves, then we can actually start asking real questions. Okay, nice. If nobody has any questions or comments, then we'll stop here. And Krishna willing, we'll continue tomorrow again. Okay. जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौरव भक्त वृंद की जय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः कोटि वैष्णव हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.